play Savage Worlds. Whether we're at the table or over the internet, in our role-playing game, fantasy is just the beginning. From the Wild West to the depths of outer space and beyond. Anytime, any place. They're all Savage Worlds.
Good evening and welcome to the Iconic Production channel. I am JM and this is... Sweet, my audio is working. And this is the inaugural event for Crucible of Worlds, our new Savage Worlds stream. And, hey, hey, Restart, good to see you, buddy. Restart's here as the official chronicler of the Crucible of Realms game, and looking forward to everything that you do. We're going to get a Google site up, Restart, and give you the dangerous editorial privileges. But tonight is character creation. It is a time to hang out, to chat, to create our characters, and this is always that thing that happens as you start getting new things set up. You forget one very important thing, which I'm going to do right now. There we go. Haha, I even left a space for it. Thanks, Jenny.
No problem.
So, here we go. Now, so we're going to go over, tonight we're going to go over the setting, we're going to go over setting rules, and we're going to go over character creation for everybody. So first of all, let me introduce the players that we have for tonight's game. We'll start with Ben. Ben, give us an introduction of yourself and tell us what you hope to be making for tonight's game.
My name is Ben. I have been playing with Jam for at least a year live, but for much longer before that. I'm practically his neighbor. I can walk here to the studio if I get the chance, which is good. And I'm looking forward to, first of all, playing Savage Worlds. It was the first system I ever actually bought and actually studied with the intent of playing many, many years ago, before I was married and had children.
Wow, you can almost hear the far-off look in your eye.
But I will be working to create tonight Pockets Wukong, who is the great nephew of the great Monkey King himself, Sun Wukong, and who does not know a lick of Kung Fu and was sent away to magic school to avoid embarrassing the entire family. So that's who I'll be working on creating tonight.
There has been a lot of love for Pockets already. Just tossing that out there. We're going to bounce.
Just to do him justice.
Never act with kids or a monkey.
That's right. Fortunately. Jay, introduce yourself. Tell us who you're looking for, or what you were planning to create in tonight's character creation.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny. I'm excited to be creating a character named Chin, who is kind of just a dragon wannabe, a shapeshifter who, as a young girl, was defended by some really cool teenage dragons and wants to be just like them and is really making that her life mission. It's going to be awesome. I'm thinking really good roller derby energy, but on a hoverboard instead.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Real
I
pumped.
now have discovered I need to make hoverboards for the setting. Also, Certified Organic, good to see you as well. Thank you so much for your subscription. Like 11 months. That's insane. Thank you, sir. Let's jump over to Haley. Haley?
Hi, my name is Haley. I am the newest member to the group. I am going to be playing Ape Windscribe, who is a Air Genasi warrior who has a very interesting connection to a certain goddess.
That's right. You're going to be playing a conduit of Morrigan, the goddess of war. And as we go through this, I have some questions prepared to kind of tease out some thoughts on your characters. Looking forward to, there's like one crucial answer I'm looking for. So no pressure. I won't tell you which question that is. I will throw them up all casually with the equal weight.
Love it. Can't wait.
Gabe.
All right, well, I'll be playing Sam Sorrow, Mercenary Defender. He's essentially a personification of the city that the Crucible sends out to help the lowest of the low solve the crimes and misdemeanors that no one else will touch. So, essentially, a spirit sort of arising from the city itself that hops from host to host and sort of helps them with, seemingly unsolvable crimes or issues that no one else will help them with.
So it's a quantum leap thing along with being a...
No. He's going to play a mantle.
Okay.
But he does not know what the identity of the mantle is. Samsara is the mantle, but that's not what necessarily is what cities hope to reap for their.
Excellent.
So let's get into the overview of the setting, not for my players who are all read up on the thousands of pages of backstory that I have for this setting, but also to include you guys in the chat on what we're doing. So, the Crucible of Realms is a game will be set in the Crucible, this city at the center of creation. That, as the intro said, was kind of pulled out of the void at the dawn of existence, and all of existence has spun out from around it. There are a number of great factions in the city, and the great factions are warring for control of the city, because what happens in the city echoes out and ripples out through creation. So they work, because all of these factions are so powerful, they work through what are known as shades and echoes. That's you guys. People who live forgotten in the city, people who have been drawn from these myriad of possible worlds and pulled here. They work through you because in the Crucible, the actions of just one person can change the entirety of existence. So this is a game.
We're not going to break reality at all.
It's a game that really leads into a lot of discussions that Ben and I have had about things like personhood and beauty, and hopefully I will be able to bring this setting to life. It's kind of intense. So I'm going to go over the factions, then I'll go over the setting rules, and then just jump into Savage Worlds character creation. We actually have, I will be posting this on the Iconic Discord and on the Patreon if you like. We have Iconic and Crucible themed character sheets that have been put together, which is pretty awesome. Looking forward to that. So, actually, we'll get into the setting rules so that you guys can know what the rules of the game are. So, first of all, there is one additional skill that you will need to write on your character sheet if you want to use it. That skill is Fly. Fly governs everything from riding a hoverboard to riding on the back of a dragon. Any sort of aerial movement in the game is controlled by the skill Fly. It is based off your agility.
And it's just default?
No, if you want to add it to it.
Okay, gotcha. We can just all fly.
We will go through, we're going to go through arcane backgrounds, but I already know which ones you guys are picking. So let's go into setting rules. So first of all, we're going to play with the conviction setting rule, which basically says at moments of great victory or catastrophic failure, I will award you with a point of conviction. And what a conviction does, and you guys all get cheat sheets on this, you don't need to worry about writing any of these down. Conviction, so you know bennies in Savage Worlds allow you to re-roll the dice, take the better result. Conviction adds another die. So it's like you have your regular die, you have your wild die, and then you can get a conviction die. And the conviction die adds to the highest of the two base dice. It goes away at the end of the round, at the end of your turn, but you can spend a Benny to have it extend for another turn. So it's that if you've earned it, you have something that you can dig down deep and call upon in moments of crisis. We will be doing downtime. We'll probably do just a session of downtime between adventures where you'll be able to do things like carouse, earn money, enchant things, train, research, stuff like that. If you are if you are a spellcaster, we will be using dynamic backlash, which means if you roll double ones, you get to roll on a table and something awful happens to you, because you're not just using magic, you're using magic in the center of reality. So when lightning strikes, it strikes hard. We are also using the high adventure rule. You guys have little cheat sheets that have the edges on there. Once we start playing, you will have a smaller cheat sheet that just has the combat edges on it. You can spend a Benny to get access to any combat edge in the middle of a fight. Like, if you really need something, you can spend a Benny to get it. The last two rules that I want to go over, or setting rules, First of all, I will point out villains can get earn conviction as well. So just be aware of that. The last two rules are, let's start with sacrifice. Sacrifice is a rule that I really am excited about. Sacrifice setting rule is the following thing. If you want to achieve a goal in a scene beyond which the rules will typically allow, you may choose to invoke the sacrifice rule. In this situation, I will work with you to achieve the desired effect, but it will cost your character's life. No resurrection, no coming back from mantle reincarnation. It burns up who you are to achieve a goal, and it is not guaranteed. You will have to make a roll. If you critically fail that roll, the effect is tainted somehow at the GM's decision. If you succeed, if you fail, you sacrifice, you get what you want, and you die immediately. You succeed on the vigor roll, you don't burn out until the end of the scene. If you get success with a raise, you can finish off the adventure. Sort of like how Doctor Who regenerates at the speed of plot. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes he limps along for the last 5 to 7 minutes of the episode. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're also going to play with factions, which I will explain later. And we are going to cover, what's the last one that I wanted to cover?
We don't know.
You don't know because all you have... some of you, mainly Gabe's character Sam and your character Haley, Eighth, yes, nailed it. You have a setting rule called subsumption. So at any point, you can open your soul conduit and allow the Morrigan more access to you. You can call upon the power of the city in the same way. It acts as a die that you get to roll on the action, and it lasts for the remainder of the scene. However, if that die aces, it goes up to the next die type the next time you use it. So it starts at a D4 and goes up to a D6. You get a 6 on that roll. I mean, the next time you use it, it goes up, and if it ever reaches a D12 and you roll a 12, your character at the end of the adventure is gone. You are absorbed back into the city for whatever weird purpose the city puts mantled out into itself for. The Morrigan inhabits you so fully that the city will not allow her presence, and you are removed from it. So you always have this extra die that you can use for a scene at the cost of the fact that it may just pull you out. Also, you will have to make a roll every time you use it to see if the Morrigan, stays around for a little bit, because gods are like that. I think that's it. Any questions so far?
This sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hello to Tinker Hellraiser and Risa. Just like disabling your ad block. Yes, sir. All right. So you guys all are already just ahead of the game because you all have your concepts down. You also have your races selected. So Jenny is playing a shapeshifter, so you have your stuff there in front of you. And you're playing an elemental scion of air, so you'll have your stuff in front of you. You are playing a human, so you get nothing. No,
You talking to me?
just a little bit.
I think there was supposed to be a kid at the end of that. Or the same character.
Yeah, as a human, you get no benefits, bonuses, but you get no flaws. So you, sir,
I've been curious about this for quite a while. Am I?
You waited until tonight to ask me
Uh-huh.
about. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks for that.
You're welcome.
All right, so I've got good news and I've got bad news. So you have 2 positive abilities as one of the Monkey King's descendants.
Okay.
You have the ability Additional Action,
Okay.
which means you ignore the first 2 points of multi-action penalties because you have a tail.
Where on the sheet would this go? So action.
Tail usually goes.
Yeah.
Gibbons don't have tails. But
Um,
I do have 2 extra hands.
Yeah, you do have 2 extra hands. It counts for extra limbs. So you have additional action. Write it somewhere. You also have Leaper,
Okay.
which allows you to move twice as far as normal. In addition, you get +4 damage when you leap as part of a wild attack instead of. Now, you will also have to pick 5 points of negative abilities from this sheet.
Okay.
Can I pick for him?
I don't know if this.
I will not mind either way.
All right. So the next step is we're gonna mix this up. You guys want to do attributes first? Do you want to pick your hindrances first, or do you want to do skills first?
Skills and hindrances.
Skills and hindrances.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys all have the hindrance sheet, a pair between the two of you. You may take up to 4 points of hindrances. Major hindrances are worth 2. Minor hindrances are worth 1. There are several special ones for the setting, which I will go over. You could take. I love this one. You could take involuntary medium. It is a major hindrance. The dead tends to possess you a lot. Anytime you get a club drawn from the action deck, you are shaken, and if you fail to recover from shaken, you are possessed by a random spirit and have to give me a die roll to see what the spirit does for a turn. So you may lose a turn, potentially in combat. It gives you 2 points back, and it can be beneficial. Maybe random prophecies are spouted. Maybe you just can't talk as this thing bemoans its wail and wails about it being dead. You can take enmity with the great factions. You can pick one of the great factions and guarantee that they come up as your enemy over the course of an adventure. So as a minor hindrance, you start with a D4 with enmity die with one of the great factions, and as a major hindrance, you start with a D6.
How much does a minor or major hindrance cost?
Minors are 1, majors are 2.
Okay, and we can have up to 4.
You can have a total of 4.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't take a enmity with a faction that you already have a faction die with. So,
Okay.
all right. So, what are some hindrances that you guys are thinking about? I saw Gabe definitely circled one.
Oh, that I just circled illiterate for Jenny. I thought maybe she would like to play an illiterate character.
Again.
Vows could be very appropriate for the two of you because you're a dragon sworn, you've sworn to the service of one of the great dragons. You are sworn to the Morrigan, so it's going to come up a lot. You might as well get points for it.
So, if you take minor enmity, is that a small amount of enmity with a major faction, or enmity with a minor faction?
It is a small amount of enmity with a great faction.
Okay. How many great factions are there?
There are. I'm glad you asked. I will just walk through this as we talk about.
That's a good idea.
So the great factions of the game are. So these are the people who are vying for control of the city. Look at. We've got great players. They immediately all take out notes. All right. So the original faction was the Elemental Estates. They are think of these as the old aristocracy of the city. Creation happened, and then the elements were spun into existence. And so the 4 great noble houses, air, earth, water, and fire, are sort of the old guard of the city.
Are they considered one faction?
They're considered one faction.
Okay.
Now, that's the weird thing because almost immediately the dead showed up as well, and so the dead kind of shake their head and acknowledge that we were probably here first. The dead are a faction in the city. No one knows what causes someone to either become part of the dead or just have their soul rendered down for currency. But the dead operate as sort of not only just the labor force of the city, but also like the municipal labor force of the city, but also the bank.
So, what you're saying is, like all the street cleaners are zombies?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Clarifying questions here.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you die in the Crucible, you either join the dead or you become money,
Yes.
unless there's some other arrangement.
Unless there's some other arrangement, usually involving the high heavens or the fiends.
Fantastic. Okay,
So
I can
you
dig
didn't
it.
become money?
I have to assume you become a zombie if you die in debt, right? Or is that when you become money?
Yes, so money in the Crucible is actually soul stuff. There are the fiends.
There's another faction.
There's
Okay.
another faction. The fiends operate as sort of the black market criminal element of the city. They are both demons and devils. Devils being the old guard of the mob, and the demons being the up and coming sort of thugs, bruisers. We can do it differently. We don't have to adhere to the laws. They did somehow pull off a major coup not too long ago. They severed the High Heavens connection. The High Heavens are banned from the Crucible, and nobody knows why. Like, conduits are fine, but even demigods aren't allowed to come in, and that's why a lot of people feel that that's why the multiverse is starting to go to hell, right? Good doesn't have a direct presence in the Crucible anymore. The High Heavens are a faction. They operate strictly through conduits and priests and churches. And then you have the last two are the Scales, the 12 great dragons that followed their god Ouroboros, who became the wall that encircles the Crucible. Each of these 12 great dragons built a tower, and they and their children, the Dragonborn, now operate as essentially the soldiery and the police of the city.
Okay.
Again, think of this in more medieval or like cyberpunk things. Yes, you're a member of the Silver Dragon clan. Not every member of the Silver Dragon clan is a soldier operating, right? But the house as a whole generally functions like that.
And are the members of that clan, are they largely Dragonborns, or they're lizard people, so
Yeah.
to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last
Inspiring.
or inspiring
So you can
actress.
so you can be, I guess, maybe sworn to a clan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll
And
let you in even if you don't have scales.
Yes.
Good to know.
And the last one is the Elysian Legion. This is a group of mercenaries that now have a camp outside the gate, which is really weird because outside the gate has typically been the shores of chaos, and they have pushed back a little beachhead. And they're a lot like the French Foreign Legion. People who join the Legion, they get a new name. Nobody asks questions about their past. Then they go off and they get hired by other realms to go do wars out in creation. And yet they maintain a presence here in Crucible.
So let me ask this. So we have all these factions. This is all inside the city.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, we have a giant wall protecting the city.
Mm-hmm.
Does the void does it have a actual physical expression? Are there individuals that are associated directly with the void?
There are individuals directly associated with the Void. There are those known as Void Dancers or Edgewalkers, and they are nihilistic priests and cultists worshipping dissolution. And generally, most people in the city, when they find out you are associated with one of these two factions, turn a blind eye as the dragons just melt a neighborhood just to make sure.
I assume that.
And then the dead will rebuild it anyway, so burn it with dragon fire, it's the only way.
Gotcha. And so do they have like an external outside force that all right, I'll wait to find out.
Yeah.
All right.
So, hindrances.
I will take a point of enmity with the elemental estates,
Okay.
a point of enmity with the dead,
Okay.
a point of enmity with the fiends,
Okay.
and a point of enmity with the scales.
Okay. Now
That's
you,
4.
and you will have to take a positive relationship with one.
The Elysian Legion.
Done.
Makes sense.
All right, write all those down. You have 4 points. All right, let's see here. Your phone died, and when you came back, the only thing was. That's the joy of having restart in the chat. John, good to have you here, buddy. Ben, what do you think of?
I'm thinking my first hindrance will be Big Mouth. Just because I'm going to play into my strengths, which is never being able to shut up. The character is unable to keep secrets and constantly gives away private information. This seems to play into my particular abilities as a player. So, Big Mouth is my first one. It's a minor hindrance, so we're the only one. I need to have up to 5, right?
You can have up to 4. You don't have to take it though.
But my race or species.
Oh, that's something different. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Big Mouth is my first minor, so worth 1. So,
Well, you're thinking, Jenny, Haley, do you have any thoughts?
I was thinking I would take first the vow, because I have pledged myself to the dragons,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think impulsive would be a fun one,
Okay.
or my roller derby energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I was thinking of doing major for both of those.
Okay. That's your 4
So-
points. I'm not saying that one side of the table is currently ahead of the other side of the table.
But one is behind.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'll take my second one. This is a major one. Heroic.
Okay. All right. That also plays to your strength. Haley, what are you thinking?
I'm definitely gonna do the vow.
Nice.
The other one I was thinking was bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's then go into. So here's how this works, guys. For 2 you have 4 extra points to spend. You can spend them at any point in the process. You can take 2 of your hindrance points to raise an attribute by 1 type, or purchase an extra edge. You can spend 1 point to get another skill point, or get a little bit of extra cash to start. We'll do that. We'll do all of these points at the end.
Can you say all of that again?
Sure. So you can spend your hindrance points at any point during the process.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, let's do attributes. There are.
I'm going to take for my last final one, because right now I've only got 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Curious of my other major one. Because again, I'm just going to play to my strength and ask all the questions.
So you're playing Curious Monkey. I wonder if the man in the yellow jacket is going to show up. I'm going to put the man in the yellow jacket.
I realized today that basically Amelia Bedelia and Curious George are somehow like
In the same
related in
universe.
a spiritual level. Causer of chaos, somehow completely accepted and normal, and everybody loves them in the end.
Come for the savage worlds. Stay for the philosophical discussion.
Yeah, the literary
and
criticism.
reasoning. Ben and Gabe. I assume that's what happens every time I get up. Yeah, okay. So here's how this works. Savage Worlds has 5 attributes. And importantly, they are not numbers. They're all going to be die types. So when you do this, you just fill in the die type that you want to use. All right, agility, hand-eye coordination, speed, that sort of thing. Smarts, spirit. Spirit affects things like certain spells use spirit, spellcasting types, and recovering from being shaken. It's sort of your willpower stat. Avoiding fear. Just to kind of help out my players here, celestial anchors require a spirit of at least 6. Dragon Sworn require a vigor of at least 6. Strength is how strong you are, and vigor is how tough you are. Now, you guys get. Oh, and I should probably let Ben and. So Ben,
Mm-hmm.
being street magic, relies on spirit as well.
Makes sense.
And as a mantled, you have no. I don't think you have an ability that requires. You don't have an ability requirement. I will double check that real quick. Do. Focus is based off spirit, so you'll need to have at least a d6 in spirit. All right. Now, so for those of you, everything starts at a d4 Most of you have spent at least 1 point to get a d6 in something. You have a total of 5 points to spend. Don't forget the one that you spent. You got to spend the one to get your activate up.
So any points.
Clifford the Big Red Kaiju. So, John, I want to run a one-shot called a Bad Day in Bedrock and have it be like a Western Flintstones mashup. It's percolating in the back of my head.
You heard what's the gal who did Cocaine Bear? Her next movie is The Flintstones. From my side.
All right, what are you guys thinking you're going to attribute to?
Elizabeth Banks, that's who I'm thinking of.
So it's just a single point to spend to raise it any one number of die?
Okay, so everything starts at 4.
Everything starts at 4.
And then are we able to use the hindrance ones for this?
No, this would just spend your 5 now.
Okay.
If you want an extra point, you can spend 2 points to get that.
What does Vigor do?
It governs how, like resisting poisons. Soaking wounds is vigor. Not dying, seeing how long you survive sacrifice effects. It also affects your toughness, which is how hard you are to wound.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, should point out, so vigor affects toughness. Parry is affected by fighting.
Okay.
So,
So you start default with a D4 no matter what. So each point puts you up to like 1 point gets you to D6.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay.
And we all have to had spent 1 at least. Well, those of us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have to have
of
it,
our 5,
yeah, of your 5, you have to spend it in there.
leaving 4 more. Okay.
Yeah, John just pointed out vigor is very nice, but there are not a lot of skills attached to it.
Mhm.
Good to know.
Not getting killed is a huge part of vigor. You looking at questions?
I keep forgetting how many we have to spend
5 total start
for.
for you because you put 1 up. Yeah,
So
4
start.
4 on top of.
The 6 that I'd spend in spirit. Okay.
Now, I ultimately decided to take Shamed as my other major
Ooh.
because it fits this backstory.
Okay.
So that gives me 7 points from the hindrances. So
Well, you can only get 4 points of hindrances. You can take as many as you want, but you only
You
get the benefit
benefits.
from 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll take all of them, but I just get 4 back. Okay.
The rest is just built into your backstory. Like you don't have to worry about taking them as.
And most of these don't have a direct mechanical impact on it. So, like, I'm not hampering myself necessarily out of the gate.
Okay. All right. So, Haley, what are your stats?
Oh, if I did this right.
Okay.
So vigor I did at a 6, strength an 8, spirit 6, smarts 4, and agility 6.
Smarts 4, agility 6. Yeah, that's 5 points. You did it right.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay. So I did a vigor 8,
Okay.
and then I kind of just made everything else match. So agility, spirit, and strength all at 6,
Okay.
and then smarts at 4.
Okay. You both have smarts at 4.
We don't need to be smart. We're cute.
No.
I'm like, oh no. The 2 people I normally count on for like.
Did you just see that?
I know.
Impulsive?
I regret
He
it.
gets tired.
This is turning over a new leaf for Jen.
Unlike me.
Roller derby energy.
John has pointed out that spirit is nice because it also helps you be less afraid and overcome shaking.
All right.
Ben, what you got?
I'm taking a 1 in agility,
Okay.
so it'll get me up to D6. A 1 in smart, so up to D6. A 2 in spirit, so get me up to D8.
Okay.
Nothing in strength, so
Okay.
D4. And a 1 in vigor, so get me up to D6.
All right.
And I again, I'm so sorry for asking this again. I don't get any bonuses from the hindrances at this point.
Not yet. You can, if you want to spend them, we'll spend hindrances at the end.
Cool.
It's gonna be fun.
What do you got?
I have an 8 in smarts and a 10 in spirit and 4 everything else.
Wait, I'm sorry. 8 in smarts, 10 in spirit, and 4s in everything else.
Yep.
All right, you're gonna be relying. Now, just remember, you always get the one, so you always have at least another d6 that you can possibly pull from.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Huh. Okay, so let's go to one of the other setting rules where you guys all start with 1 free edge.
Okay.
Now, I have thankfully selected all of your free edges for you in advance, based off of your character creation.
All right, hit me.
Ben, yours is arcane background, street mage.
Okay.
So, in Crucible, there is something known as the Deck of the City. It is a tarot-like deck that some people have the ability to cast readings of. The deck shifts based off what factions are in ascendancy, who the major players are in the ascendancy. So as you guys play through the game, you could actually literally be affecting what is possible for Pockets to draw out of his deck.
So you add cards to the deck based on what's going on?
I will remove cards from the deck and replace them with other ones, unless something major happens, in which case, yes, there will be a...
This is the best.
Also, just so you guys know, we are looking at if people are excited about it, we may do a small crowdfunding to get Bob to draw the city deck, and then we will print it and city decks for you guys to all purchase.
That would be so cool.
I know, right? Maybe this summer. So, you have arcane background street magic. You have the special ability called reading. It's a skill. You should write that down.
Okay.
You will have to put at least 1 point into reading in order to get to be able to use your magic. It's based off of spirit.
Cool.
Here's how your magic works. I'm working to simplify it, but right now the way it works is at the start of every adventure, you will make a reading roll. You will set up the deck, you will draw the cards, and I have a massive spreadsheet. Big thanks to Tinker Hellraiser for helping me put this together. That based off of inversions and placement, you will be able to spend the cards that you draw over the course of the adventure to invoke powers or edges. So like if you draw the 8 of legions, you may get a couple of combat edges for a scene when you spend that card.
Okay.
The major arcana will be really crazy things that you should only invoke at your risk. So that is what you have. That is your arcane background. That is how that works.
Excellent.
Haley, as a conduit of the Morgan, you have a couple of choices to make. Well, you don't have choices because they're already based off what you have told me. I'm not just making decisions for my players. This is based off what they've said. Or am I? No, it's really based off what they said. So, you are playing a conduit. So, you're starting... I will send you some of these. So, you're playing what is known as the Celestial Anchor. Your arcane skill is Faith. It is based off Spirit. It's gonna start at a D4 for 1 point. And the Morrigan is a goddess of war. So I will give you a list of powers to choose from, but you start with 2 powers, definitely. Healing and Smite. You can call upon your connection to the goddess to make your weapon more, make any weapon in the area that you choose more powerful, or to heal wounds. You will have 10 power points to spend. I'll make a nice little cheat sheet for you. All of your powers cost power points. Okay. You'll have a stack of chips, make it super easy, plus chips are always fun to throw around. You'll also be able to spend power points to make your powers cooler. So if you don't want to, maybe you want to apply it to multiple people. Well, that costs 1 extra power point for each extra person you cast this.
Okay.
You may also take any edges that require the arcane background based around faith. You have to display prominently the symbols of your deity and religion. So I have an idea in my head of what the Morrigan's holy symbol is, but I will let you change. Like, you can make it whatever you want. I am thinking like a bloody crow. Every
That's the thought
time.
I was going with.
What?
That's kind of the thought I was going
Okay. Well, every time you prominently display it, you get a free reroll on all faith rolls. You have to have a hand free to display your symbol.
with. Okay.
And then, last but not least, you can, as I said, let the goddess soul ride you. It's awesome. You get an extra d6 to everything for the next 5 rounds, and then you get to roll on the table that JM created called the conduit table. And maybe the Morrigan just sticks around a little longer. Maybe she goes off and does something with your body, like
Love that.
just you come back, you wake up covered in blood in an alley somewhere, going, "What day is it?" Yeah.
Yeah.
This sort of started as like Southern California with some Soul Rider, and then it ended in Las Vegas.
Sorry. As a dragonbound, your spell casting skill is called Dragon Soul, and it is based off Vigor. You start with 2 powers, and then 3 of your choice. And I will send you the choices to make, so you don't have to make them right now on stream. You can think about it. But you start with Burst, which is basically your ability to vomit out gouts of flame as connected to the Great Dragon, and Protection. Like, you can scale yourself up and take on the appearance of a dragon. And then 3 other powers of your choice. And you get 10 power points as well. I'll get you a stack of chips. It'll be awesome.
Awesome. Very excited.
Excellent. Sam, as a mantled, we will be working over the next week to build your mantled power set. And the way this is going to work is you're going to have, we're going to craft each of the powers of Sam Sorrow's mantle as they descend upon the current incarnation, and then whoever else may be encountered. You too can open up the power of the mantled and gain a d4 to everything. But if it aces for you, it goes up the next time you use it. You start at a d6 because you also get powers. Yeah, that's a balancing act. Fine tuning as we go. Yes, we will take it. We will take it easy. Foghat is much beloved, at least behind the screen. I don't know. Ooh, double pump. So we will be working on that. All right. Now we're going to go into skills. Now all of you have the following skills. They always start at a D4 for free. All of you have common or athletics. That's your running, jumping, climbing trees, killing something while you're up there skill.
Okay.
Starts at a D4. You have common knowledge. Just remember, your character always knows more about what's going on than necessarily you do. Common knowledge is the what does my character know about this that I know. Notice, that's the I notice things. Persuasion and stealth.
Notice. Persuasion.
And they all start at D4. Now, you should have a skill list in the packet that I handed you guys. You have 12 additional points. Well, technically, sorry, you guys all had 11 additional points because you had to spend 1 point in your spellcasting ability. Okay? Oh, right there.
Oh.
Here's how this works. This is the one confusing part about what we're going to go over tonight. It costs 1 point to raise a skill up to its linked die type. So, for example, if you are raising your spellcasting ability, which is linked to Vigor, what's your Vigor at?
A D8.
Okay, so you could spend 1 point to get it to a D6, a second point to get it to a D8, but if you go over the linked attribute, it costs 2 points to increase it above that.
Oh.
Okay, so like your Vigor limits your spellcasting ability. You can go up to, I don't know if there's a limit to start. John Doom, is there a limit to start with skills? I forgot to even look that up. Skills may not be raised above D12s during character creation.
You can raise it above D12.
Oh yeah, they can go to D12 plus 1 and D12 plus 2, being the highest.
Okay.
Now here's the thing to remember. The magic number, despite what you were told in Schoolhouse Rocks, the magic number for Savage Worlds is 4. Your target number, except if you're like attacking someone in combat, is 4. I may give you a penalty to your roll and say, hey, roll your dice and subtract 4 because it is really hard. As long as you hit 4, you're fine. So just keep that in mind. 4 is the magic number, except in combat. It could be 5 or 6 or 7, but I'll always let you know what it is.
4 or higher.
Yeah. And then every increment of 4 after that is a raise.
Okay. What are these pre-existing skills that we already have connected to, or is that already in our
It should
Cheat sheet.
it should say on your cheat sheet.
sheet?
So as always, thanks to everybody for playing. Thanks to and we're not stopping it. I'm just doing a quick plug in the middle. Thanks to everybody who has helped support Iconic Production as long as we've been in here. It has been a wonderful ride. We've been doing this. I think we're heading into our 6th year streaming. So thanks to everybody who is a member of the Iconic Patronage, who subscribes here on Twitch. All of that goes to allowing us to get the equipment, to put together cool things like this, to buy Ben a spill-proof tarot deck that is coming in. Yeah, so just as always, thank you. If you want to become a member of the Iconic Patronage, it's been scrolling across up here. Patreon.com/Iconic Production. You get behind the scenes, you get access to our preview of our audio before it goes live on our podcasts. You get to hang out with us on the Discord channel. You get to see all of Restar's food adventures. There's a whole sub-channel dedicated to Restar's food adventures, which is just, yeah. Every square has 4 corners. Now it's going to be in my head.
Yeah.
Tink and Restar get the first bennies in the chat for the night.
All right. So again, I apologize.
No.
We have 12 points to spend,
Yes.
and so those can also be spent to buy more skills.
Yes.
Okay. But in order to
And you have to spend 1 point in your spell text. So you have 11 more points to spend.
Okay. Perfect.
And what can we do to raise attributes or skills with our hindrances?
At the end, you can spend.
end.
Yeah, at the end.
Okay, and then you said earlier fly was one of the skills. Is that one that's based on agility?
It is based on agility. Ooh, the past, the present, the future, and the afterlife. I love it.
So gambling.
Well done, Tink. So what skills are we all thinking?
Well, so far I'm taking gambling and healing.
Okay.
Figure with all these impulsive lunatics should be the healing.
I like how you say everyone else is an impulsive lunatic.
I mean,
You're the monkey.
bolt as well.
And guys, we'll do powers and gears on the Discord over the next week. Wanted to get a good feel for this. So you guys have any questions about the setting rules? I mean, Ben, we'll go over. I think what we may end up doing is doing the readings before the adventure.
Yeah, fair.
Fair. Also, thank you to Savage Worlds for supporting the show. We're part of the Savage Worlds Media Network. I don't know.
Yes.
I will have to share with you the work that Tinker Hellraiser did on getting us the entire meaning with inversions of the entire tarot deck.
Excellent.
The suits, the minor arcana suits, in case anyone cares or is wondering at home, will be the elemental estates, the legionnaires, the dead, and the great dragons.
Looking at this list, and I should have been a little bit more smart.
Same here. Like, oh, my character would like this. Oh, but I bet she'd be really bad at that.
Now, you can spend 2 of your 4 hindrance points to raise an attribute by 1 point. So if you want to bump your smarts die by 1, you can spend 2 of your points.
Okay, so if we do that,
Here, yeah.
like I bump my agility or whatever up by 1 by using 2 of my hindrance points, then these skills points would cost less to get up to that.
Yes.
Should we do some math here?
Things to kind of keep in mind that may be useful in this game. First of all, fighting. Fighting covers your melee skill. Shooting.
And those throwing things, right?
What?
That includes throwing things, right?
Shooting is with any kind of ranged weapon, and remember there are single-shot firearms in the city that use rust fire. I think athletics covers thrown weapons.
Oh, it does. Walking, jumping, bouncing, wrestling, skiing. Skiing, that's highly specific. Thank you. Swimming, drawing, and catching.
That's probably the skill that's associated with hoverboards, honestly.
Skiing?
Yeah.
Athletics.
I could see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
skiing.
Skiing.
I've been basing it on flat, so that changes
Oh,
the limit.
no.
Maybe I should take shooting and have a slingshot.
And you can take athletics for your cards.
It's a little too gambit.
I agree.
Plus, I need those cards.
You
I can't have them sticking out of some goon's face.
You have to recover it.
Then they're messed up. Like, even if they're waterproof, they're magic cards, man.
It's true.
Taking shooting, gonna get a slingshot.
All right. Awesome. You guys enjoying this? Like thoughts on character creation?
Yeah.
Yes,
Feeling like you're getting a good feel for your characters?
I think so.
I was so excited when Jenny was talking about. So Jenny walked into the studio and was like, "This is who Chen is."
She sounds so fun.
I cannot wait to get these characters to the table next week. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I told Haley how weird it's going to be. Ben has been part of the generation of this setting since the beginning, so he knows how weird it's going to get.
How many points do we have again to spend?
12.
12, but actually 11 because you got your first one already spent for you. Now I just need to.
I now have a smarts of 10 and a spirit of 12.
Okay, let me see if there's a attribute cache. Do I care? Possibly not. No, 12 is the max. It may not go above 12 unless you have a racial modifier. Awesome, guys.
Really cool.
So remember, we've got the. No, we're just going to jump into the game next week. It's going to be awesome. So tell me a little bit about Samsara's mantle. Like, what sort of powers do you
this is
see?
how I'm seeing,
Yeah.
understanding Sam's, basically, and how I'm understanding the mechanics of the drawing on the die that keeps ramping up with a chance of absorption.
Yeah.
So basically, Sam is some kind of weird, unconscious bubble or projection from the city itself. There are people out there who, run afoul of the fiends or the dead or whatever, that are basically at their wits' end. There's no one else to turn to, no one else to help them. They can call on Sam to take their case.
Like the A-Team.
Yes. The problem is that the way he takes a case is by simply the mantle descends on you and
stays on you
until your case is solved. And then the problem is that he will you run the risk of that mantle absorbing.
So it'll actually stay on longer than that until the whole person is absorbed into the city.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like, so what
So he's always, because he's a good guy, he's always trying to solve your case before his presence literally dissolves you into the city.
Okay.
So he's on your side, but just his mere presence is enough to be caustic.
So
to your being.
only the person who is the most desperate would enact the ritual that summons Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I assume there's a case that
Yeah.
Sam's never been able to solve, the case of his own.
Yes, well, I'll tell you about that when not on stream, just in case it's something you want to keep.
Oh, there's something I definitely want to keep.
Okay.
John is helping John have a Benny for spending in the game when we get on there. I appreciate the help for everybody. I appreciate how the whole team has really, like, the whole iconic patronage and channel has really rallied around getting Crucible up and running. So I really appreciate that. I'm thinking either Cinders behind you guys or maybe like sand swirls for next week. We'll figure it out. All right. Haley, any questions? You spent all your skill points.
Not yet.
Okay. Question for you. As Morrigan's soul anchor, like, two questions. One, are you the only soul anchor of Morrigan in the city, or does she have another?
I'm gonna say maybe there's another one.
Like soul anchor me?
Yeah.
Rivals.
That's what I was thinking. I want.
And then, are you a willing soul anchor? Because here's the thing. The people who are able to be conduits, it is an inherent natural aspect. So gods will latch onto them willing or not. Did you willingly, were you like an acolyte of the Morrigan who was like, this is awesome? Or were you walking down the street one day and the goddess started talking in your ear and was like, kill that dude over there because he is an affront to my presence?
Oh, it's all been Is that like a weird experience for people?
Some people.
Oh.
Not us. That is my favorite. All right, on a complete side note, that is my favorite episode of the Venture Brothers, where the Scooby Gang shows up and only Shaggy can hear Scooby, and Scooby is like, "You want the sword of the Lord? The unrighteous. Are you guys hearing me?" Wow. So
I want to say I'm willing and not going through that.
you're not slowly losing your mind. Okay, cool.
But also,
I respect your choice.
that begs other questions, like what kind of person actually decides to get on board with the goddess of slaughter? Like,
Ape.
what happened to you, man?
Clearly. So Silver Dragon was the clan you were swearing to, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So just so you know, the Silver Dragon clan, they are known for being defenders of not just the city, but the people inside the city. They are known generally as being above corruption, but not necessarily. I mean, they are one of the good dragon houses. They are also, if you are found to be lacking and not holding up, they deal with you internally. And by internally, I mean...
Very glad I didn't choose thieving. That's one of my skills. Like, I had thought.
Yeah.
Instead, I put most of my points into fly, because I want to be real sick on that hoverboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to go home and watch Arcane if you haven't yet, though. Because there is some sick other books in there.
Actually, Arcane was one of the major influences for kind of the theme and the feel of the city. So,
Well, that works out really well.
got your skill sets done?
Yeah.
All right. So, Samsara, what kind of abilities does the mantle grant Sam in order to solve these cases?
Mainly
Perceptive,
the
defensive?
fact that he doesn't have he's not afraid, he can't be intimidated because he doesn't have any being of his own. So he solves almost all of his cases, and people end up giving him what he wants as he's doing his investigations because they know they can't make him go away.
Okay.
And he's now well enough known, and everybody just sort of annoyed by him, that if he shows up, for the most part, he can, the best way to get him off your back is just to tell him what he wants to know, and then it'll go away.
Right, so some persuasion, some healing, because he's just implacable, won't stop. And so, like, his body, like, the mantle is stitching the body back together to make sure that he can.
Well, actually, he's really bad at that. And what he does is he has to spend, because he has a vigor of 4.
Well, so I'm thinking that the mantle, you would just get to make healing tests more often, not necessarily be better at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going for a Wolverine thing, like just get messed up and you just actually.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. I can't wait to build your mantled power set with you.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, how's skills coming?
I think it's coming. I have taken gambling, healing, occult, research, thievery, and shooting.
Did you take some? Have you guys increased your spellcasting ability?
I did go ahead and bump that up to a D8. Do you suppose I should put that up a little farther to D10?
D8's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'll stay with D8 for the moment.
Because you're gonna need to
Should we
make
just call
sure.
it spellcasting?
What was that?
Should we just call it spellcasting?
Yeah, yours is focus, but you can call it spellcasting.
Put my dragon souls.
You can put Dragon Souls. So Ben, the way this is going to work is you will always get to draw 3 cards from the tarot deck.
Okay.
A simple past, present, future reading.
Okay.
If you succeed on your roll, you will get to draw an additional card,
Okay.
being a cross. And then if you get a raise, you will get to draw 5, which is the circle of around the city.
Okay.
And that's how many cards you will have for the adventure. Now you'll be able to use your spellcast. You'll use your spellcasting as the focus for all of the spells that you will have and powers you will gain. But that is how the reading will go.
Okay.
All right. So does everybody just have like a couple of skills and then your points left, your hindrance points to spend? Jenny's like, yes, I am ready. I can see it. All right. So you may spend 2 points to get a new edge. There's a ton of edges on the trait sheet that I handed to you. Again, 2 points to raise an attribute, or you can raise a skill for 1 point. I do have some new setting specific edges, if you guys would like to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
We would.
There is one specifically. Nobody took involuntary medium. Okay, just wanted to make sure. There's a deeper reading. Deeper reading is for street magic. He gets to draw an extra card. So he automatically draws 4 cards to start. You guys could take Soul Sight. Soul Sight allows you to see the flow of Barondic energy, the energy of the dead. You can notice the signs of a topos of death or a place of death where there is just this. There will be an eruption, which usually leads to a small new bank or vault. Vaults end up being explored if they are not taken over by the dead.
It's the worst way to expand your banking empire, though weirdly probably accurate.
Murder the guy in that corner. Additionally, you may spend money, Animus Jacks, to reduce penalties from spellcasting. You can basically burn pieces of other people's souls to make sure your magic goes up. Thank you. Love you too, buddy. You may also take. Oh, one last thing. Oh, I forgot. You each get one faction die with one of the great factions right off the bat. You have a. You start with a D4 in one of the factions. You get to pick. Yours probably makes sense. The dragons, the high heavens for you. There are two edges that go with this. You could pick faction darling. Increase your character's starting faction die by one size. So that would take it to a D6 to start.
And that's 2 hindrance points?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could also take friends beyond number, and you can just get a D4 with another faction. It's possible she was burning souls for fun. I cannot make a distinction one way or the other, John.
Where would faction die appear?
They're a skill.
And where does that come in to play?
I'm glad you asked. I was about to explain this. Jenny is an excellent seguer. Her character is an excellent hover seguer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
He did.
That's right. So the way this works is you may use this die whenever you want to gain information, find a person, or purchase an item from one of your factions. When you want to tap into your faction, you make a roll with the faction die. It gets a wild die as well. If you critically fail, you piss off your faction and you reduce your die by one type for the rest of the adventure. If you reduce a D4 by one, you just never get to call on your faction for the rest of that adventure, and then it goes back up to a D4. If you fail, you get what you want, but you immediately owe your faction a debt, which I will call in some form of faction the rest of the game. If you have success, you owe a minor debt to the faction, and if you get a success with a raise, you get what you want and don't owe anything to the faction. So this actually helps you establish characters. So Jenny's like, I need to find somebody who knows about, the criminal underworld in, the fire estate. I would be like, well, who would you know? Who would your character know in there? And you'd be like, oh, well, there's this one guy when I was in training. He was an elemental scion who had sworn to the dragons. He may be able to find. And so you guys will be able to actually build new places. You'll be able to build new NPCs with this ability and add into the world. Or you can be like, I don't know. Who do I know? Not just take over.
Functional question as it relates to pieces of paper.
Yes.
Okay. So if the faction die thing just becomes one of my skills, but then it takes 2 to bump it up from a D4 to a D6. Is that because it's not based on one of the attributes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Nice. Faction darling.
Really just going all in on the dragon thing.
I love it. I assume your flyboard is definitely got like dragon wings.
Oh, it's so cool looking.
The smell of burnt souls is impossible to air out. Well done, Tink. That is.
What are these requirements on edges?
Sometimes the edge will have a requirement. What is like? Give me.
So hard to kill says NSPD8.
Hard to kill requires spirit, I believe, of D8. What type of ability is it? Or what category does it fall in? Combat edges?
Yeah.
Hard to kill. Novice. So the person in the rank. So you can take anything that says N.
Gotcha.
And then spirit D8 is what you need.
Okay.
Then you can take harder to kill, which requires hard to kill.
Yeah, what does the V mean in hard to kill?
Veteran. So it goes novice is starting characters, then seasoned, then veteran,
Gotcha.
then legendary.
Gotcha.
And it's gonna be a while, so it's really like legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Thank you, Jenny.
We work well.
Great.
All right, so my how many
Pay attention.
how many edges do you get by default? You got the
You got your one free one.
okay, and then everything else I gotta pay for.
Everything else you got to pay off via your hindrances.
Okay, so which is good because I've got a few of those left.
Yeah. So you can, but you only spend 4 points of hindrances.
On edges or
No, you can. It doesn't matter how many you take. You only get 4 points back.
Gotcha. So I can take. So I have 2 that I can spend now. I can spend the other 2 on
Yes.
something up my spine.
So and 2 would be 1 edge. I got you.
All right. So I should probably take that deeper reading since that's
If you want to,
my
or you can
main
ignore
thing.
it. You can pick it up later. Because here's the. Let me explain how this works.
That's a good idea. Talk about advancement real quick.
Yeah. Let me explain. There is too much. Let me sum up. So, at the end of every adventure, sometimes in the middle of an adventure, if I'm feeling generous, I will give you an advancement. Okay? An advancement may be used to increase an edge, or to buy an edge, sorry, to increase a skill that is equal to or already greater than the link die type, increase 2 skills that are less than the die type, increase an attribute by 1 die type. You may only do that once a rank, or remove a hindrance, a minor hindrance, or reduce a major hindrance to a minor hindrance. Essentially, your first 3 advancements are taken at novice. As soon as you hit your 4th advancement, you guys are considered seasoned. You get to take new advancements because, or your traits and edges now can be taken at the seasoned level. And then, yeah, veteran, heroic, and legendary. So it's an even longer wait for that joke that I made like 3 minutes ago. This is what you signed up for, but
Is
What is WC on requirements?
which
Water
one?
closet.
that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Like, I've been to Europe. I know what happens there. It's gonna cost you
I don't know
though.
what's the,
Stretch.
or what's the edge?
I was just followers is one, master.
Are these
Sidekick.
social edge?
No, they're all this. A bunch of them have WC.
Let me see here.
Common bond.
All right, so power, surge is a power edge.
Mighty blow has WC.
You have to be a wild card. You guys are all wild cards because you have a. Thank you, John Doom. Yes. So, PCs in this game are called wild cards. There are some villains that are wild cards, but those are going to be named villains. So, like guard number 4, not a wild card.
Gotcha.
My brain just died. Who's the guardsman? The sergeant in Night's Watch. Vimes.
Not Vimes. He's the
Yeah, but I
captain.
mean, but Vimes would be like when Vimes is the sergeant, he's
Yeah.
a wild card.
When he's just a guard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the sergeant is Knobs and
Yeah,
Corporal Knobs.
Corporal
Sergeant Colon. That's right. Sergeant Colon and Corporal Knobs.
Terry Pryor did
And,
this world. This world.
Yeah.
Night Watch is perhaps the greatest book,
It's
just hands down.
It's certainly the best time travel book.
It is the best time travel book, and it's Les Mis
in this world.
in a fantasy city. It is,
What with time travel?
but with time travel.
And, like the only time travel that makes sense, weirdly enough,
Mhm.
it's the only time travel I've ever encountered where it's just like, okay, that I don't have any questions about what has happened here.
No, it is all right. All right. Well, all we have. Has everybody spent their hindrance points? Jenny, what did you spend your hindrance points on?
Oh, I spent 2 of my hindrance points to up my agility. Mostly because, again, wanted to up my fly.
Yes.
And then I spent the other 2 hindrance points on being a faction darling.
That's right. Yes. Well, John, Akmor Pork is another one of the inspirations for the city. Excellent. I look forward to seeing Chen in action next week. We will do your equipment. We'll do that offline because equipment is. You have $500 to spend.
How many hoverboards can I get? Half
One for each foot.
part of one?
One. Sam, what did you spend yours on? I'll throw it in the gate.
I just raised my smarts and spirit by a die each.
Okay. And then we're going to cover our mantled stuff on chat as well as equipment.
Okay.
Cool. What'd you spend yours on?
My hindrance points?
Mm-hmm.
I bumped my smarts up by
4 hindrance points.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care how many you've written down. 4. 4.
2 of them went toward upping my smarts, so that's now
Okay.
an 8. And then I think I'm gonna take the other one. The other one I wanted was Jack of all trades because there could be a bit of Sean Spencer in here.
Okay.
I've done a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna have to go with probably what's the other one? Scavenger, but that also requires luck. Now luck is that another edge?
Yeah.
Okay, so I should take luck
You
first.
should take luck first.
Where is luck?
That seems appropriate for a Monkey King
Yeah.
descendant.
I really just like this.
Uh,
You don't get this a lot.
Ben spent the afternoon regaling us with tales of the Monkey King.
It's the best stuff.
It is
It's
the best
amazing.
Yeah, I think it is the spirit department.
That would make sense.
Let's see. This
Powers and professional edges. Get it on here? Get it on here.
And our minor enmities with various factions go under the hindrances.
no, there'll be skill dice as well.
Okay.
Luck requires novice. That's it. You get 1 extra bending at the beginning of every game
So
session.
that's just pick luck. And I'm like,
Yep.
yes, okay. I got it.
Perfect.
Match.
Haley, what did you take for AIF?
I am gonna take that high heaven dice,
Okay.
and I think I am gonna make myself slightly smarter.
Okay.
So we don't get. So you can also buy a faction relationships on your edges. Or you
At
get
an edge.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a D4 automatically.
Okay, but
You
you
can take it up to a D6.
gotcha. Okay, so I guess my relationship will be with the Elysian Legion.
Okay.
Mine too.
Maybe we knew each other.
Well then, actually, let's do one last little bit because we're here. So, Haley, you get 3 powers from the War Domain. I will tell you briefly what they are. That you can make a slightly informed decision, as opposed to just having me read them off and you being like, that doesn't help me at all.
Okay.
Now remember, unlike, how do I want to put this? Unlike other fantasy RPGs, you're not going to have as many powers, like as many spells as you do in other games, right? You're going to start off with Smite, Heal, and only 3 more. So you're going to have a total of 5 spells that you know how to cast. But they're a lot more flexible. Let's see here. Page 114 is the one I want. 13, 14. All right, the Domain of War. So, you can bait Arcane Protection as one, which is a armor spell. Barrier puts up a barrier. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. Blast is a area of effect. Bolt is a single target kind of spell. Boost or lower trait is actually really useful. You can increase somebody else's traits in your allies or your own, or lower, and a trait is an attribute or a skill.
Dang.
I'm gonna take that one.
Okay, write that one down.
I'll take it.
Boost / lower trait. Conjure item. You know, conjure an item.
Oh,
But is it any item up to a certain size?
Any
Or?
item up to a certain size.
Summon a once.
a million yo-yos.
is a brunch submarine.
That's like a normal size that can be conjured even.
Damage field, you create an aura that if somebody hits you, they take damage.
Oh, I like that too.
Deflection makes you harder to hit by ranged attacks. Dispel gets rid of an ongoing power. Divination gives you some sort of insight into what's going on. Fear makes you really scary. Fly. Well, some of these are self-explanatory. Grow, shrink. You can make something grow or make something shrink. It's the Alice in Wonderland spell. Happen. It was just called.
That one sounds fun.
Can we have it set up that White Rabbit starts playing every time you use the...
We can't afford that. Basically, you create a whirlwind, chaotic poltergeist, or repulsion field around you. And whenever anyone tries to get near you, they get hurled away, and if they strike a hard object, they take damage.
Is that friendly fire too?
Anyone. Yeah.
Maybe not that one.
Mystical intervention, which allows a intervention by Morgan. Protection.
Sounds like a King Crimson album. Mystical intervention.
So protection gives you armor.
A late Uriah Heep.
Arcane protection gives you protection against hostile powers that attack you. Like you give somebody a penalty if they're trying to cast a spell on you. Stun. Speed. Relief removes fatigue. Sanctuary, you have to ring a bell. Prevents people from, attacking. Speed. Summon ally allows you to summon like an entity to come and aid you. Or Warrior's Gift, which is a new one that I am not familiar with, but feels like it should be right up your alley. Warrior's Gift. You can't take that one yet. Yes.
Tease me with it.
It basically allows you to pick a combat edge as an effect for casting a spell. Like you cast a spell to gain hard to kill. Or, yeah.
I assume speed just summons a 1970s truck stop.
Okay. We need a shame cam.
Or possibly Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
So sloth speed allows you to lower someone's celerity and coordination, while speeds increases it. Success either halves or doubles the person's movement.
And I have to pick 3 out of them.
You gotta pick 3 of those.
I liked barrier.
All right.
I'm trying to think of ones that are beneficial for everybody.
You don't have to.
And then
Sloth.
sloths are my favorite animal, so it's really hard for me not to pick that one. But I like the one that was, if I get hit, the other person gets damaged too.
All right, so you're gonna want. Let me make sure you can get all of these. You can't take divination yet. So damage field is too high for you. Sorry.
Oh.
Let me tell you the ones that you can take. Arcane protection.
Take slow. That's it. You can just take it like 3
Take a
or 4
little
times.
version of it.
All right, so arcane protection is one. This is why I said we would do it afterwards. I screw it up. Arcane protection, bolt, which is that single target burst of energy, boost or lower trait, burst, which is like a cone effect, or you can take that one. That one's definitely one you can take. He said deflection. So far, doing so well. Fear. Havoc.
You can take Havoc.
She can't take havoc. She can let slip.
The Dogs of War.
Yeah. Protection, which is armor. Relief, which removes fatigue. You already know smite. Stun. You can take summon ally. And those are the ones you can take.
might have to pick later.
Okay, you can pick later. Jenny, you want to pick later, or you want me to give you kind of a heads up of what you can pick?
Both?
Okay.
Yeah.
Way to... Porque no los dos. All right. Nobody picked necromancy or cannibalism.
Okay, because I get 3 powers, right?
Yep, so you start with burst and protection.
Burst and protection.
And 3 others. Yeah. So you can pick arcane protection, which makes it harder for spells to hit you. Beast friend allows you to speak and guide the actions of natural beasts. Blind makes someone blind. Boost or lower trait. Burrow, you can dig into the earth. Nope, that not dark sights. You can see in the dark. Nope, not that one. Environmental protection, which will allow you to not take damage from different types of the elemental estates. Can't take that one. Fear, you can take. Healing. Illusions. Light or darkness, so it's one spell, light, darkness. And most of these are just very simply mind link. You can create a telepathic link with another person. Nope, can't do that. Relief, remove fatigue, like we said. Shape change.
Probably need that one.
You can't shape change though as a shape changer.
Yeah. Well, I have follow-up questions about that.
Okay, we'll cover that one later.
Yeah.
Slumber. Sound/silence, which will let you make a sound or make everything quiet. Stun. Or wall walker, which allows you to walk on horizontal surfaces.
Get on horizontal surfaces?
Yeah, and vertical surfaces. Yeah.
Because I can already do that one.
No. Prove it.
Well, bluff called.
Do I need to be depending on which type of gibbon it is, it can be around 2 feet tall or like 3.5 feet tall.
Or make you green.
Be one of the long extinct Indo-European gibbons.
The ones that wrote the Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire?
Wow.
Nobody liked that guy. We all had to read the book.
I love that book.
And not all of us had to read it.
I've got the complete set still on
I
my
know,
shelf.
but he really didn't like you. Let's just put it that way.
You read things by people who
I
don't
know.
like me.
He's also dead, so that's you go one up on him.
It makes the world a bigger place for me. All right.
A little dark.
So, with that dark note, we're going to end our stream for tonight. We will be back next Tuesday with the first session of the game, which I'm so excited about.
I thought I'd clap.
What?
I thought I'd clap.
It will. We will definitely be starting with a rooftop chase. So we're gonna get right into rolls and combat at the start of the session. So
I have a voice really awesome.
it is going to be awesome. I see it in my. I do see it in my head, but for whatever reason now I'm seeing it as like the Green Goblin glider from like the Tobey Maguire. I need to get that out of my head.
Correct.
Yeah. Nobody needs that. So, do you guys have fun? I realize we're making characters for a brand new game, but I'm really excited about this campaign. Chat, thanks for hanging in. There, we will be back next week with more Crucible of Realms, the actual. I am something of a scientist myself. It's weird the lines that get memed, but. And I've seen that, like, it's just been replaced by so many words. I'm something of a connoisseur myself. We will be back next week with more Savage Worlds. I'm looking forward to getting more Savage Worlds on the stream. So, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. We will see you all in a week. Have a good one.